I'm so happy to have you here. I am Erleen Tilton. It's so fun to be able to do these webinars. Hopefully, you're able to take lots of notes and make sure that you write down your questions so that we can address all of those when we get to the end. We're talking all about greens tonight, and we're going to start right off with why eat greens. There's a lot of reasons why we need to eat greens. Nutrient density, they are high in antioxidants, and we need those for our cellular support. Rich in fiber, again, needed for digestive health, anti-inflammatory. Plus, when you eat greens, you feel more satisfied and have less cravings. We all need that, right? Heart health support. We can slim down naturally the more greens we eat and the less of some of these other foods, and improve your skin. But that's not all. There's a lot of wonderful benefits in eating greens. So let's talk about the benefits of lettuce greens specifically. And we're going to go into the kitchen in just a few minutes, and I'll be talking a little bit more about this. But the one thing I really, really want to emphasize, it's important to have salads every meal, or at least almost every meal, because they provide the enzymes needed for digestion. You will see as people grow older, their tummies get bigger and bigger and bigger, simply because they're not digesting their food, simply because they have not been raised eating greens and salads, especially raw. We're talking about raw. We need these at every meal. I've had a lot of people say, no, I ate green beans, from a can. Well, they're dead, first of all, but we need the raw enzymes. Our body was never, ever meant to produce all the enzymes we need for digestion. We must provide them with the food that we eat. And it's so important to get good salad, greens, raw in our meals. Every meal. We should never eat anything. I always say we need something raw at every eating interval, but especially our raw vegetables and greens. Okay. A lot of people I see feeding their kids a quarter of an apple or something with it. First of all, the fruit's not what we need. We need the greens. We need to raise our kids on greens. We understand that the lettuce also regulates blood sugar, and it prevents those spikes, those blood sugar spikes. So another really important reason for the lettuce greens, they boost antioxidants, they're rich in fiber and nutrients, and they are negative calories. Everybody wants negative calories, right? Which means we burn more calories in digesting them than we are eating. So that's a pretty cool feature when it comes to our lettuces, okay? So we have other vegetables. What are some of those benefits? Well, again, these are raw foods and they provide enzymes. They boost antioxidants. They're rich in fiber and nutrients. And several of these are even negative calorie, especially celery. Celery is one of our best negative calorie foods. And it's so good for digestion, so high in fiber and high in water-rich nutrients. So we really should chow down on that celery. Really, really good for us. So the benefits of cruciferous veggies. They are nutrient powerhouses. They are cancer-fighting vegetables. Let's remember that. We need some of these cruciferous vegetables almost daily. Our cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, and even bok choy. Anyway, those are our cruciferous vegetables. So important for fighting cancer, and also good for gut health and weight management. The more, again, we eat, the better we are with these. Now, the big thing about the cruciferous vegetables is actually they do better lightly steamed. We can digest them better when lightly steamed. I've found this with kale, with broccoli, even cauliflower. Some way, if they're lightly steamed or cooked, they're actually better. So I have found that even putting them in a salad, You can maybe wilt them ahead of time with oil and vinegar, let them stand for a little while to somewhat go to sauerkraut so it starts breaking them down. But they really need to be wilted or slightly steamed. And then what are the benefits of green herbs and weeds? I throw in that weeds there because I was raised eating weeds and learning about weeds. And I've actually taught a lot of classes on eating weeds. And in fact, last year, I taught a herbot class where everything I did, we ate the weeds, we tasted the weeds, we did a lot with the weeds. And there's so many great weeds that grow in our garden and all around us that are really, really good, nutritious. And I love the weeds and the benefits of them, but we have a lot of our green herbs that are really, really good for us. Actually, last week I went to visit my daughter in California, and we went walking down by her creek, and we saw fennel growing as well as watercress. And we picked those, and she came back and put them in her salads, and she goes, wow, I love this fennel in here. This is so good. So, but our greens are great for detox. They're immune boosting. They help increase metabolism and are great for internal organ support. So I found that cilantro is super, super good for detox. Parsley is really, really good for kidney detox. So if you have kidney issues, double up on the parsley. If you need to detox overall, eat a lot of cilantro. These are really good for detox. And how do you get more greens in your diet? Well, include them in your meal plan. Shop for them and have them on hand. I think that that's, these are the two biggest problems. People just don't eat enough greens because they don't put them in their meal plan. They're saying we're having spaghetti tonight and enchiladas tomorrow night, but they're forgetting the greens. Shop for them. Make sure you're shopping for them and you have them on hand. And then always eat some raw with each meal, as I mentioned before. Then serve them in a way that you can enjoy them. And as we go in the kitchen, I'll share ways that you can actually enjoy them more. So bottom line for the 98% of the people here, if your shopping cart or plate doesn't include more fresh vegetables and some fruit, then guess what? Then your meat, milk, and breads, unless you're getting them from your garden, you will have more challenges with digestion, weight management, and overall health challenges. So this is something that most people don't understand. They're big on the breads, they're big on the meats, but sometimes they're not getting the fiber and the enzymes and the micronutrients that are in our vegetables and especially our greens. And I tell people that are on these high carb, high meat diets, there's no enzymes, there's no fiber in those. And we need those. We need fiber and enzymes for proper digestion. Super, super important. So unless you're that 2%, most of us fit in this category. And we will have more challenges if we don't really double up on the greens. That's what's most people's problems actually are. They are not getting the greens that they need, and so they suffer. So we're going to go to the kitchen and hands-on, but just before we go in there, I want you to remember to write down specific questions. And then on your worksheet, make sure that you are noting specific recipes and ideas that might work for you. Make sure that you're writing those in. And then make sure you visit my YouTube channel. I do have that bit.ly link on on the worksheet. If you didn't get that, but you can always take a screenshot right now. But make sure you go there and subscribe and look at all my YouTube videos because I have a ton of them. And actually, I've listed them in the handout. All right, everyone, we're here in the kitchen, and I just wanted to show you a lot of different things that I think will be helpful for you in learning more about greens. So I'm first going to share with you what I buy at the store. I basically shop about every other week, every 2 weeks. So these are the kinds of foods that I'm shopping for when I shop for that 2 week period. Again, like I said, your grocery cart should be full of greens. Either that or you should be getting them out of your gardens, and maybe you are. But there should be more there than there are a lot of the other foods. So the first thing I always do is make sure I get my herbs. So cilantro and parsley, I've used a lot of that already. I always make sure and get lots of green herbs. I do have green onions that are even surviving the winter in my garden. So then I'll also get some greens to steam. So this is Swiss chard, and these are beets. They really have sorry tops this week. I don't know why. Usually I see better greens, but green tops on my beets. But I really do like beets. I like the beet greens as well. So I'm going to put some of these aside as we talk about them. Next, I always buy a box of baby lettuce greens, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but I also buy a package of lettuce. To me, both of these are super, super important. And again, we'll talk about this in a minute. Always lots of celery. Celery is, again, so good for digestion. And I really love my celery. So this is one of the staples that we have. And then usually I will buy green beans, fresh green beans, always fresh. I don't like anything but fresh. Green chilies, cucumbers, and then all my cruciferous vegetables. I buy kale, either here or in a box. Brussels sprouts and broccoli this week. I didn't buy anything else other than kale, the broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. So there's a variety of the cruciferous. And one more thing, can't forget, all my avocados. They're green too, right? So lots of greens for the week, because these are super, super important. We need a variety of colors, actually, but I think the greens are especially a really, really important staple. And so, yes, these are all besides maybe red bell peppers and carrots, not every week, but and some of the other vegetables that you like. So these are the things that we need to, like I said, double up on and eat more of. Okay. So what can we do with all of these? I always say, if you look at my YouTube recipes, I have a secret sauce. I don't know if any of you know what my secret sauce is, but my secret sauce goes in all of my recipes. And so I'm going to share about this secret sauce, and that is my essential oils. I would not be able to do anything without my essential oils. Now, and let me tell you why. There's 3 reasons why I add essential oils to all my food. Number 1 is flavor. I love the flavor, and I don't like just steaming green beans or steaming some of, these other things, or a salad just with salt and pepper. To me, I like flavor. And there's so many great flavors as you learn how to use the essential oils. Number 2, for convenience. I don't always have a lime or some oregano or thyme leaves in my kitchen or in my refrigerator. I love the fact that I have this lime all the time. And so anytime it calls for lime, I can just add 2 or 3 drops for a couple of tablespoons of lime juice. So it's just great, so convenient to be able to have this. And like I said, any of the others, I mean, there's so many great oils that I use that I just don't I don't have the herbs with me all the time. But the third and most important reason is the wonderful benefits. So, for instance, lime and any of our citrus essential oils, they're very alkalizing. They're great for detox. They stimulate good gut metabolism and they are good for gut health. And they have antioxidants. I mean, there's so many wonderful benefits to our citrus essential oils. So some of the others that I use, oh, here's lemon too. But some of my herb ones like coriander and thyme and basil, these are all really good for internal support for digestion, immune boosting. Those are all really good for that. And a couple more is my pink and black pepper. I love black pepper. I add it a lot. Pink pepper, not so much, but it's a sweeter oil. And these are so good in different recipes. But I wanted to say that unlike any other oils, doTERRA is the only one that I would trust because I know they're not adulterated. They are grown in conditions without pesticides or herbicides, fungicides, all of those things. So we know that they are grown in the environment that would produce a pure essential oil. And you know that they are safe to use if they have a supplement fact label. So always look for that supplement fact label because you don't want to use anything that doesn't have a supplement fact label, which means it can be used as a supplement. We can take it internally. And so I love to add those to my foods. And as I make recipes, you'll see that the essential oils are always in them. And like I said, they have so many wonderful internal benefits. So let's go into what are some of the things we do with these. Now, first, I tell my coaching clients, to eat more greens and maybe proteins. And they're going, well, what do you do for lunch? They're just kind of like, what do you eat for lunch if you don't eat bread? And I'm going, 1 meal salads. And they're going, I'm not even sure what that is. So I tell them, this is where you go and buy the box of greens. Most people I have found, it's not that we're lazy, we're busy, right? And so people just don't like chopping up salads. And I'm going, if you would just get the box of baby greens, salads are easy to make. You put that on there, maybe put some protein. I just did egg. Put the egg on there, maybe add some avocado, and then add some other vegetables. Whoops. And you've really got a great salad. Look at this. It's complete. You've got lots of protein and good fiber and a lot of good nutrients in this. And it's so simple to make. This is a great 1 meal salad. Now, if you don't do the egg, you could do chicken or fish, something left over. Salads are easy to make if you start with this box of greens. So make sure if you don't enjoy making salads, this is your lifesaver. It really is. And you can make salads very, very quickly. Now, again, you can add lettuce, this, to wraps and sandwiches, but the baby greens, like I said, they're washed, they're ready to use. And so they're easy to add to wraps and sandwiches, but also they're great to add to smoothies. Now, most people make smoothies wrong. We got to make green smoothies, a little bit of water, handful of greens, and then some nuts and doTERRA protein. I only use the plant protein and maybe a little bit of fruit, but you really want it more greens, and proteins. And that's the best way to make your smoothies. Then add a couple of drops of lemon essential oil. It's cleansing, it's alkalizing. It's a great smoothie, but you've got to make sure that you've got the proportions right. Most people are just doing fruit, and it really sends your blood sugar on a roller coaster to get that much fruit at one setting. So make sure that you're doing your smoothies in the right way. And that's what I love about the greens. Okay, so let's talk about preparing leafy greens. So the best way to prepare leafy greens, I've got to get these back here, is to steam them. So I love steaming Swiss chard or the beet greens. These are great for, just steaming until they're just slight crisp tender. And then people say, well, what do you do with them after that? Well, I like to do seasoning oils. So this is olive oil. And all you have to do is get doTERRA's Italian or Mexican oil and put, about per cup, probably 5 or 6 drops is all you need in this whole pint. I'm sorry, this is only a cup. This is 8 ounces. And it's great. Now you can add it, drizzle it over your greens and then just sprinkle it with salt. Or you can make a stir-fry seasoning salt. This is one of my favorite seasoned salts. I make this, and because you're here, I'm going to share the recipe with you. So anyway, this is a great seasoning salt, and I like to put it on a lot of my foods. So you could just put regular olive oil and the seasoning salt. Or I have dressings that I do make. This is my Italian dressing, and I love making this from scratch. These things only take 5 minutes. I love making my dressing, and this is really good on steamed greens. So keep those in mind because they really do make your greens come alive, and they're very tasty. And you can do that at the side of your main dish, but they don't take the place of your salad, remember. You really need that salad there. The best way to prepare our cruciferous vegetables, again, is to steam them. And I'm sorry, I have these all in bags, but this is the only way I could buy them this week. So sorry about that. But anyway, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, I'd like to steam these as well. These are very good also with the same type of thing. Put a dressing on them. Put a little bit of seasoned olive oil or just regular olive oil and seasoning salt. This is a great way to enjoy your cruciferous vegetables. And you know what? I found that I like doing several at a time so that you kind of have your maybe green beans and your broccoli and your Brussels sprouts. You've got kind of a choice and a little bit of variety. So steam them all, and then you can, enjoy them the next day as well. Okay, now we're going to talk about the way to eat our green herbs. Now, again, just cut and clip them and add them on salads. Now, another thing that I really like on my steamed vegetables, like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, is making pesto. This is actually a cilantro pesto. Now, you can make pesto with cilantro, with parsley, just like you do basil. I've even made weed pesto. Like I said, I do a lot with my weeds too. They're my garden weeds and they're my friends. So there's so much you can do with the pesto. I mean, pesto is really olive oil and garlic and nuts and greens and salt. But then I do add a couple of oils in here. And it's so good on a lot of things. I love the pesto on the greens, great on a number of dishes. So again, this is a great way to get greens into your diet. I also have a dip that I call green dip. And actually, I serve this at a lot of my classes that I teach. I take my green dip. In fact, a couple of months ago, I was having a class and I was saying, well, I can bring a dip. Let me think about what dip. And the lady said, well, you got to bring your green dip. That's the best. So it's everything green, like avocado and either cilantro or parsley. And parsley is a good substitution for cilantro. But also it's got lime essential oil, and I always put pistachios and pumpkin seeds. So, it's everything green, and it comes out really, really nice. So, and the way to get more veggies down you is actually, I have found, to cut them up ahead of time so that you have them available. This is super, super important. I have found this saves me over the years. People that, especially the kids are coming in, they're hungry. Mom, what's to eat? I'm hungry. I want to eat now. They want a snack. It's like, okay, here's the veggies, snack on them. They get the greens down first, or the veggies. But I found if you have this and you have this, then once you're starting kind of, getting over that threshold and really need something to eat, here's something already ready. And it's very quick, very simple, and easy to access and enjoy. So again, those are just a couple of ways. Back to our greens. Again, blending them in dips, salsas, chimichurri. Have you heard of chimichurri? That's one of the things I really enjoy too. Chimichurri is a good sauce, kind of like pesto, but it generally they from Argentina originally. They put it on meats, so fish, chicken, meatloaf. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do with chimichurri. And it's, again, mostly cilantro, parsley, or you can even use kale. Just blend it up with your oil and some things. I have these recipes to share with you. So, or you can juice these. Well, I wouldn't do the cilantro, but the parsley, again, really, really good for detoxing your kidneys. You could juice it, the celery, and put a little bit of parsley in there, not too much. Parsley's really strong, but also add a half of an apple. It's actually really good. So I love doing green juicing on occasion. I don't, green juice a lot, but I do on occasion because I think it's so good for you, and it's very good for detox. Another way to get greens in your, or green herbs, is I did these meat bites. This is what we're eating for dinner, actually. These meat bites are like meatballs, so simple to make because I stir it up kind of like a meatloaf or something, but I get the little tiny cookie scoop and just scoop it and put it in the skillet. But it's full of greens. So I had a cup and a half in a pound of ground turkey. So these are really tasty, and it's nice to serve them with the green dip. These go really well together. I also have an avocado dip, which, it's not guacamole, it's different, but these really go well. So it's good to use your greens that way. Now, occasionally we not are lazy, but there's opportunities to use other things. And this is where I really like my doTERRA greens. And these doTERRA greens, they are great in a smoothie. If you don't have greens or you want to just boost your greens, I love the greens powder. There's all kinds of wonderful greens in here: kale, alfalfa, dandelion. I mean, there's a lot of good things, and actually some fruits as well that are high in antioxidants, great fiber, great nutrient source. But I actually made these little, I call them my, well, on my YouTube videos, I have to call them different because I have to put search terms there, but these are what I normally call my green crispy bars. And I can't remember what I call them on YouTube. So Anyway, but they're fun because we have the greens in them. So since this month is all about greens, it's fun to do a lot of fun things with greens. All right, I wanted to reemphasize how to get more greens in your diet. Include them in your meal planning. Number 2 is shop for them and make sure that you have them on hand. Number 3 is always eat something raw with each of your meals. And number 4 is to serve them in a way that you can enjoy them. If it takes making dips and pestos and chimichuris and getting some greens and, just finding different ways to enjoy your greens, then, this is where I love my oils, and I love the ability to just create great flavors. It's convenient, and there's so many wonderful benefits with these. So please go on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and you like my videos, but also see how I make them, okay? You can see that they're very simple, okay? But I'm giving you a list in your handout. I gave you a list of all the green foods that I have in there. So if you printed your handout, you're going to see this.
Can you address other kinds of pestos you can make? I mean, only thing I've ever had is a basil pesto. I've never really made pestos.
So, like I said, you can make pesto the same way with different nuts and different greens. And that's what I love about it, because I don't always have basil. I grow parsley. It's not growing really well right now, but it will. I have tons of parsley in my garden, and I grow cilantro as well. So I'm more prone to get the pesto from my parsley, my cilantro, my kale, which I grow as well, or even my weeds. I do pesto with any of those. Also, the nuts. Pine nuts are kind of expensive now. You can use macadamia nuts, you can use cashews, you can use almost any nut that you want. So you just want kind of the same measurements, putting it on different meats. You can put it on vegetables. I like to add pesto even in a baked sweet potato. It's real yummy.
What kind of greens do you eat for breakfast? Because I know when we talked before, you talked about having vegetables for breakfast. I haven't done that in years.
If you do like more protein for breakfast, I have a really good video that I posted last week on YouTube. It was my, I think it's vegetable omelets, avocado cream. Anyway, that is, if you like eggs, you like omelets, it's full of broccoli and other greens, but then it has the avocado cream on it. And so that's a great way to get vegetables down at breakfast. Anyway, I hope you take this to heart and enjoy these recipes, and let me know if you have any questions, okay?